nay, 2 absent and not voting. House Bill 1155 is declared passed. Continuing on the 11th order of business, the House has before it House Bill 1188, which has been read. Mr. Chief Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, House Bill 1188, introduced by Representative Ruby and other House and Senate sponsors. House Bill 1188 is a bill for an act to repeal Chapter 23-39 of the North Dakota Century Code relating to the regulation of tanning facilities. Mr. Speaker, this has a fiscal note prepared by the Department of Health on January 17, 2013. Their analysis indicates the passage of this bill will result in a net loss of revenue of $5,599 in the 2013-2015 biennium and $5,455 in the 2015-2017 biennium for local public health units. Mr. Speaker, your Human Services Committee recommends a do not pass on House Bill 1188 by a vote of 8 yeas, 5 nays, 0 absent, and 0 not voting. Mr. Speaker.
Representative Overson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and members of the Assembly, with a vote of 8 to 5, your Committee on Human Services recommends a do not pass on House Bill 1188. This proposed bill would repeal sections of our Century Code that regulate tanning facilities in the state. There was a lot of testimony and discussion on this matter. We heard that most of the dissension with the current statute had more to do with one specific regulation, not necessarily all of the regulations, and that enforcement of the regulations can be difficult. However, the Health Department believed that they were doing a fine job of regulation and have been increasing their focus on education about the dangers of tanning. We did receive much testimony and many emails on the known dangers of indoor tanning. The World Health Organization has recently labeled UV tanning beds as carcinogenic to humans. With that strong of a danger, we felt it necessary to keep regulation in place and maybe instead look at how to better enforce said regulations. With that, Mr. Speaker and members of the Assembly, your Committee on Human Services recommends a do not pass on House Bill 1188 and kindly asks that you concur.
Is there any discussion? Representative Ruby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members of the Assembly. I appreciate the work the committee did. I kind of thought maybe if they wouldn't pass the bill in its entirety, that maybe there would be some changes to the provisions that there were more than one, but some of the provisions of the current tanning law are completely unenforceable. There's no way to regulate how much time somebody or how many times somebody goes to a tanning bed, because there's obviously in most of the areas of the state there's multiple places to go. So we put a regulation in that says you can't tan more than once in a 24-hour period, but the only place that you can be prevented from tanning more than once in a 24-hour period is in one facility. But there's several facilities. You could tan many times a day. There's nobody that goes around to the beach at the lakes that we have here and asks if you were there the day before or if you were out there too many hours in one day. Obviously the sun has caused more burns for people than tanning facilities ever have. I'm not here to try to sway you on the health benefits of tanning, because I don't think it's that healthy of an activity either, but we are requiring people to or these facilities to police something that they can't police. We're asking the health department to enforce these rules, and when we put the tanning law in place, we gave them 1 FTE here in Bismarck and no funds to do it. So how they're supposed to go around, and especially in a good portion of this state, they're too busy to be enforcing these laws anyway. Not to say they don't do the best job they can, try to get to every facility, but there's no way to really go through and check to make sure that all these provisions are being followed. The ones that aren't following them, they let somebody come in and tan 20 minutes, 30 minutes at one time. Or maybe a shift change, somebody else could maybe come in and tan again. There's places where tanning beds are in exercise facilities, and there's not much oversight over that at all. People can own their own tanning beds. I don't know what the solution here is. I guess if we handle it like we do some other things, maybe we shouldn't allow these tanning beds to be indoors, and if you're going to use it, it has to be 20 feet away from a door. I don't know what the solution is. So I would like to see some green votes on this, and I think maybe we should make sure that if we're going to require some kind of enforcement, that we actually make something that is enforceable and that can that we fund it properly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the House has before it. Oh, Representative Kiefert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also serve on the Human Services Board, and what this bill would do is get rid of the requirement of the under 18 to get permission from their parents. And I realize that's kind of hard to police this, but I'll just ask you to consider the recommendations of the 12,600 members of the American Academy of Dermatologists. They're recommending a do not pass on that. And also the 5,700 members of the dermatologic surgeon members across the nation that are also urging us to do not pass on this, because this would not, it serves as a deterrent to the kids not to go get tanning without their parental consent. If we lift this, it's going to be wide open to do it all they want, whenever they want. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the House has before it for final consideration House Bill 1188. The clerk will open the key and you may record your vote. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? The key will be closed and the clerk will take the record. The final vote shows 32 yea, 60 nay, 2 absent, not voting. House Bill 1188 is declared failed.